Is 12 weeks really enough time to accomplish your goals? Well, over the next 12 weeks, I'm going to find out if it's true or not. So, one of the issues that I have is my goals. I can create goals and plan them out just as good as anybody. However, I fall because I don't actually execute them in a way that I can see results. So, while looking on YouTube, searching on ways to help me with executing my goals, I came across this book called The 12-Week Year Plan. And this book here helps with breaking your goals down into 12-week intervals, and each 12 weeks is its own 12 weeks. So they all completely stand alone. So today I want to kind of dive in and talk a little about it and even give you an example of what I'm going to be doing with using the 12-week plan. So I'm going to start with what it says on page 4 of the book. It's not a knowledge problem that we have, it's an execution problem. And literally, I can totally relate to this. Like I stated earlier, I can write down my plans and my goals and be like, yes, I have this plan. However, I can't execute them well. And it never seems to go the way that I would actually want them to go. But after reading this book, I can see why having the goals and setting up the 12-week plan will help with accomplishing this. And what I've realized and what I've also learned by reading is by having a plan to being able to execute the plan, it will reduce mistakes, save time, and will provide me focus. So that's what I hope to accomplish during this first 12 weeks. And it also includes building better habits as well. Because we can definitely write out the plans, but it also shows that even having a plan, but you also have to create habits around your plans so that you can accomplish your goals. So the first thing I want to talk about today is we first have to unlearn the annual plan. So we're used to planning on an annual basis. We always think that something magical will happen between after Christmas and the first of the new year, that we're going to get all of this energy and we are so gung-ho and we are ready to just tackle and accomplish our goals, right? But shortly after, maybe the end of January, maybe even the end of February, we've put those goals up on the shelf and we've gone on to something completely different. And that's most of us, because I do it too. Or we are doing the type of, we still have our goals, but instead of maybe putting them on the shelf, we'll put them off. So what I mean by putting them off is say I have a goal to write content for the next 2 weeks. So what I'll do is I'll say, okay, today I'm going to write down the content, create and map out my content for the next 2 weeks. But what happens is if something happens, guess what? I'll do that tomorrow, or I'll do that next week. And with the annual plan, we feel like we have a lot of time. And before we turn around and realize it, it's maybe quarter 3 or quarter 4. And now we're trying to figure out how in the world are we going to accomplish all the goals we had set out for the year. But now we have maybe 3 to 6 months. And how are we going to do all that in that short time frame? But with the 12-week year, every 12 weeks stands alone. So it's almost as if every 12 weeks we get that new feeling that we get when we get at the end of the year and beginning of the year to accomplish our goals. So it's always going to be there, and it kind of helps us with focusing on what it is we need to accomplish. I like to say, because I'm using this more so for my business, that it will help me move the needle and actually do the money generating activities that I need to do, and not necessarily doing the busy work. And we all know what busy work is: working in Canva, doing research to figure out, on a topic that we're going to write about, or rewriting notes, or rewriting our plans again, where we think we're busy, but in reality, we're actually avoiding what it is that we need to do. And this will help me focus on the plans that I need to actually do, in order to accomplish my actual goals. So of course that is hard to do because we're so used and wired to do a 12-month plan, and then of course break them down into quarters. So this might be a little bit difficult for me, but fret not. I have come up with sort of an idea that will kind of help me with doing this. And the one suggestion that I would definitely make is, especially if you're starting out or you want to participate in the 12-week plan, start with small goals first. Don't do anything and make these overwhelming for yourself, because we tend to do that. I know I do. Don't make them overwhelming and don't overthink it. Just pick some small goals that you might want to obtain, and it could be any aspect of your life. Physical, it could be mental, it could be educational, it could be business, it could be career-wise, self-care, travel, whatever it is that you want to do. Start with something small first and then kind of build from there to kind of get your feet wet with it. So one of the other things that they have within the 12-week plan is it breaks it down into both weekly and daily activities. Now, these activities are a guide for your next 12 weeks. So this week, the weekly plan should consist of the critical steps per the book that you need to do to accomplish your goals. And you want to keep in mind, this is not a to-do list. So this is not I need to create a Canva graphic. I need to create a caption. No, this is an actual guide. And within the book, I also noticed as well, is that you're also blocking off time to do and to focus on what you need to focus on a regular basis. So to kind of illustrate this, I'm going to use one of my goals as an example. So one of the goals that I have is for the 12 weeks is I want to onboard 2 new clients. So what are the tactics that I need to do in order to do that? One is I need to go live each week to have a conversation with my audience. 2, I need to make the invitation to either book a discovery call or to join my email list. 3, I need to set up my consultation calendar. 4, I need to review my analytics. Now, each of these tactics will have due dates. So for example, if going live each week to have the conversation, sort of like what I'm doing right now, I will set the date and time that I will do that, and it's actually on Fridays at about 12:30, 12:45, and I set a date for that to do that task. And once it's marked off, it's done, and that's only a task that I have to do once out of the entire 12 weeks. And then from there, I don't have to do it again because it's already set up. So 2, it would be set up my consultation calendar. So I'll go into my Acuity scheduling and I'll set up a consultation call time to where I'll have set times for people to schedule and book a call with me. That's also a one-time activity that I won't have to do again. Of course, with these, they'll determine, and I have to determine as well, what week and day each of the tasks will get done. So that's where my trusty planner will come in. And by doing that, I will put it on the date and put underneath there what it is I need to do. Once it's done, it's done. It will also help with getting out of the hamster wheel of just doing to be doing. And I think that's the biggest thing, especially if you're building a side hustle. We tend to get caught up in the fluff and the the so-called pretty stuff or busy work, to where we're actually avoiding the task that actually needs to be done. And for me, it needs to be showing up more on a consistent basis, doing live stream, to have the conversation and to make the invitation. Also with this as well, I mentioned earlier about time blocking. So with the time blocking, that is at the beginning of each week, you'll take 10 to 15 minutes to review the tasks that you did for the prior week, see where you did well, see where you need to make improvements, so that throughout the weeks, you're able to go ahead and make the adjustments. This will hold you accountable. And in one of my videos that I did over Vlogmas, I talked about how our goals are promised to ourselves. And when we don't accomplish our goals, we are not keeping the promises that we have made to ourselves. So we want to make sure that when we're doing the 12-week plan, that we kind of stay on track, and that it will help us with keeping the promise that we made to ourselves at the beginning of the year. So the next thing, and I kind of did this a little backwards, but next, of course, you have to determine your goals. It could be anything. It could be your career, it could be self-care, it could be your business, it could be health-wise, it could be mental health, it could be anything that you want to do. Pick one or two. These are my suggestions for what I did. You want to pick maybe one or two goals that you can get started with. Don't overthink it. Don't overwhelm yourself. Just write it down, and then from there, write down each task that you may need to do each and every week. It could be one or two tasks that you have to do a week. It could be something that you have to do on a daily basis. Write them down, put them in your planner for the week, and make the time to, one, go ahead in and look at the plans to review your task from the week before, so that you can go ahead and make adjustments before you actually go and make your plans for the week. I always do that on Sundays. So on Sundays, I'm reviewing really quick to see what needs to be made or done, and then focusing and building out my plan for the following week. Now, each 12 weeks through this can be the same goals each and every 12 weeks, which is what thing I am going to do to make it easier for myself, because I don't want to overwhelm myself. So it will probably be the same 2 or 3 goals on a 12-week basis, maybe adding 1 or 2 new goals here depending every so often. So my review of the 12-week and my thoughts of the 12-week goal is, I have nothing to lose, really. I have to really begin to focus on what it is that I want to accomplish in the next year. I look at myself and I say, listen, you are going to be having a milestone birthday next year. And there are things that I want to accomplish between now and then. So, hey, I might as well go ahead and give the 12-week plan a try. So let me know if you have tried the 12-week plan. What are your thoughts? And if you never have, would you consider doing the 12-week plan? Go ahead, let me know in the comments. And if you are if you're stuck with creating and figuring out what goals you want to do, watch this next video here, as it will actually help you with planning and making your goals happen. Have a great day.